right? Tell me, does the Tillamook ring a bell with you? No? Okay, let me set the scene. It's December 1946. And there's this huge American tanker, the Tillamook, right? And it was laid up in Swansea Bay, having unloaded its cargo. Somehow, although the anchor was said to be dropped, it suddenly found itself aground on the mussel beds at Sker Beach. Now this tanker, as you can imagine, was 10,000 tons, and it was in the way. The locals wanted their beach back, and the Americans wanted their tanker back. They tried refloating her, but she just wouldn't budge. Half the community had to keep plugging away at it for months and months. And then on one wet and windy evening, when the tide was high and people's hopes understandably very low, they finally managed to free the Tillamook and send her on her way back to the promised land. Or Swansea, as it turned out. Skip forward a few years to a wide-eyed little boy playing on those very same mussel beds. And what does he notice? A bit of an odd shape, to be a rock, he thinks. Well, he scratched away at it with childlike persistence, and he was right. It was made of metal. Now, having grown up with local stories like the one about the Tillamook, this little boy was wise enough to know he'd unearthed treasure. So, he kept the news to himself, vowing to come back years later to claim the object and to make his fortune. Almost 60 years after Tillamook first graced these shores, that same boy, now the landlord here, returned with the same childlike persistence to take from the sea the last piece of the ship and to complete its salvage. But Sker Beach wasn't going to give up her prize so easily. As a team of friends and customers of the pub gathered on the headland, with their hopes high and the tide low, the wintry conditions became worse as they searched again for the treasure. And the longer the day went on, the more the rain fell and the more the sea swelled, until it seemed that the rocks would never reveal the prize they had claimed some 60 years previous. Truth be told, they were a bunch of regulars from a pub roaming the beach in the rain looking for some copper thing that the landlord thinks he saw when he still believed in the tooth fairy. It's not exactly how you imagine spending your idle Saturday, is it? And they were ready to go home. It was just then, suddenly, one of the search party spotted something. Bit of an odd shape to be a rock, they thought. Tapped it. It was indeed metal. Well, suddenly they were archaeologists and explorers braving the terrible terrain, and in the name of antiquity, they'd found what they'd been looking for, and they hoisted it straight up and out of there. The propeller from the Tillamook. As for the little boy, he was reunited with his treasure. He decided to bring it here, where it serves as a memorial to all those who've lost their lives in shipwrecks nearby.
Owen, you're not telling our propeller story again, are you?